News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. Iran is warning it will retaliate across the Middle East if the U.S. or Israel resume attacks. President Trump warned Tehran yesterday it could face another big hit if it doesn't make progress on a deal in the next few days. Bloomberg economics defense lead Becca Wasser says the conflict has reached a stage of purgatory.
We're neither here nor there. We're not in open conflict, but there's also no peace either. And this phase is largely focusing on the Strait of Hormuz at the moment, where you've seen President Trump trying to take various actions, whether that is Project Freedom, the blockade, trying to break the logjam in the strait and have it reopened.
Becca Wasser of Bloomberg Economics. President Trump says the U.S. is in the final stages of talks with Iran. While speaking with reporters as he prepared to board Air Force One, Trump said he is not worried about Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu jumping the gun.
He'll do whatever I want him to do. He's a very, very good man. He'll do whatever I want him to do, and he's a great guy. To me, he's a great guy. Don't forget, he was a wartime prime minister.
President Trump says he is in no hurry to reach a deal with Iran. Former Democratic Congressman Barney Frank has died. Frank found himself on the front lines of the government's rescue of the American financial system in 2007 and 2008. He was chair of the House Financial Services Committee, and he was the first member of Congress to voluntarily identify as gay. He died yesterday at his home in Maine. He had reportedly entered hospice care last month, dealing with congestive heart failure. Former Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank was 86 years old. Stocks rose as a decline in oil prices halted a sell-off in bonds. Traders awaiting Nvidia's results for clues on whether a tech-led surge has more room to run. We check those markets for you all day long here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 up 0.9%, NASDAQ up 1.25%, the Dow up about 1%. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.58% and the 2-year yield at 4.04%. WTI now topping $99 a barrel and Brent crude nearing $106 a barrel. Bloomberg reported earlier that Meta had begun alerting thousands of workers they're being laid off, part of a previously announced restructuring aimed at reducing costs while the company invests heavily in artificial intelligence. Meta shares more than 0.5% higher. Target's comparable sales jumped 5.6% last quarter, the biggest increase since the end of 2021 and triple the gain analysts were expecting. The company raised its annual revenue guidance by 2 percentage points to about 4%, but executives warn of tougher comparisons and more cost challenges ahead. Shares of Target are now more than 4% lower. TJ Maxx raised its sales growth expectations for the year as cautious shoppers spend on lower-priced goods at the company's discount chains. The company said comparable sales from its stores and e-commerce sites are now seen expanding as much as 4%. That's up from previous guidance for an increase of as much as 3%. TJ Maxx shares are more than 6% higher. 2 police officers who helped defend the U.S. Capitol from an attack by a mob of Trump supporters are now suing to block anyone, including January 6, 2021 rioters, from receiving payouts from a new nearly $1.8 billion settlement fund. The officers filed the lawsuit a day after Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche defended the fund's creation during a congressional hearing. More than 100 police officers were injured during the Capitol riot, and more than 1,600 people were charged. But President Trump used his pardon powers to erase those cases. World Health Organization officials say they expect the number of confirmed Ebola cases in Central Africa to rise as more suspected cases are detected. WHO Secretary General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says that as of now, there are nearly 600 suspected cases and at least 179 suspected deaths. WHO officials assess the risk as high at the national and regional levels, but low at the global level. The U.S. exit from the World Health Organization and cuts to foreign relief operations have reduced U.S. spending on Ebola-related aid, with estimates showing a decline from about $23 million in 2021 to roughly $186,000 last year. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris, and this is Bloomberg.